Welcome back to Financial Wellness Planning. My name is Derek Coffey, and I'm the founder of FWP. And over the last couple of Fridays, we've been talking about how you can protect your financial plan. We've covered life insurance, we've covered health insurance, we've also covered homeowners insurance. The final piece to protecting your plan is going to be your auto insurance. Now, you may not think about it much while you're driving, but you are most exposed to a potential loss when you're in your vehicle. Not only do you have to worry about what you're doing while you're going down the road, you also have to worry about what everyone else on the road is doing. Distracted driving is at an all-time high, and your auto insurance premiums probably reflect that. I live a half a mile from my job. It's a mile round trip. I can't tell you how many people I see on their phone while they're driving just within that 1 mile. In addition to the other drivers that you have to worry about, you also have to worry about things being in the road. I live in the sticks of Virginia, so seeing a deer cross the road is a very common occurrence. If you hit that deer, especially with the way cars are built nowadays, you could total your vehicle in just one accident. Making sure that you have the proper coverage amounts within your auto insurance policy is what's going to protect you and your financial plan from those losses. In this video, we're going to get into what auto insurance is, and we're going to go over the coverages that are within every standard auto insurance plan. That way you can make sure that you have the coverages that you need. Stay tuned. Just like your homeowner's policy, your auto insurance covers you in two different ways. The first of which, it protects your property. So that vehicle that you're driving around in is going to be covered in the event that it's stolen or if it's in an accident. Your auto insurance policy also provides you liability protection. So if you're in an accident and you're the one that's at fault, then your auto insurance policy is what's going to help cover all of the costs associated with the accident that you caused. Ideally, your coverages are going to be enough that you don't have to come out of your own pocket to pay for anything. So as you're trying to figure out how much coverage you need to have, the state that you live in is actually going to help you out a little bit. All states have a minimum amount of auto insurance coverage that you have to have. And what you see on your screen is a list of these states and those minimums. And this article was done by NerdWallet, and I'll actually put a link to this article in the description of the video, but it breaks down the minimums by state. Now, I personally live in the state of Virginia, so the minimums for any auto insurance policy is $30,000 in bodily injury coverage, and that's per person. It's $60,000 in bodily injury per accident, and then $20,000 for any property damage that you cause. Now, in 2025, those minimums are going to increase again. They're going to go to $50,000, $100,000 per accident, and then $25,000 for any property damage. But what I want you to keep in mind about this is that these are the absolute minimums that you have to have. If you hit an Escalade and you only have $25,000 of property damage coverage, even next year, then you're going to come out of pocket to reimburse the person that you hit. Escalades aren't cheap. Vehicles in general aren't cheap. So having the minimum amounts is good because you have some level of protection, but it's not going to be enough in the event that you're at fault. So what do these coverages actually mean? Well, a standard auto insurance policy is broken down into 6 different coverage types, the first of which is the bodily injury. And it's fairly straightforward. If you cause an accident, someone gets hurt, then that portion of your policy is going to help cover that individual's medical costs. Again, this is another reason not to roll around with the state minimums. If you cause an accident bad enough to where someone has to be flown to the hospital, have surgeries, then you could easily eat up your coverage limits. Next is the medical payments or the personal injury protection. So if you're driving the vehicle and you get in an accident, then this portion of your coverage is meant to cover your medical costs and any passengers that are within your vehicle. Now, it's not going to be the same limits necessarily as the bodily injury coverage for someone else, but it is going to help offset some of the costs that you and your passengers may face. Third is your property damage coverage. And just like bodily injury, it's very straightforward. If you cause an accident and cause damage to someone else's property, then this portion of your policy is what's going to step in and make that other individual whole again. Next, we have collision coverage. And what this does is it reimburses you in the event that you hit another vehicle or you roll your car over. Now, with collision coverages, it's typically going to be sold with a deductible. That deductible could be $250 all the way up to $1,000. But the more that you're willing to pay as a deductible, the less you're going to pay in insurance premiums. Fifth is your comprehensive coverage, and this is going to pay for anything that's deemed non-collision. This is going to cover things like fire, hail, theft, and hitting an animal on the road. The same thing applies. Comprehensive coverage is going to have a deductible. It could be $250 to $1,000. Again, the more you're willing to pay, the less you're going to have to pay in premiums. Comprehensive coverage is also going to be required by most lenders if there's a loan against your vehicle, and it's only there to pay them back in the event that your vehicle's totaled and you haven't paid that loan off yet. The final coverage type of an auto insurance policy is uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage. The limits are going to match whatever you have for your own personal coverage. But the purpose of this coverage is to protect you in the event that you're in an accident caused by someone that either has no insurance or they don't have enough insurance. Your uninsured and underinsured is also going to cover you if you're involved in a hit and run accident. If your car is hit and that person leaves and there's no way for you to get any insurance information at all, this portion of your policy is what's going to make you whole again. So how much coverage should you have? Well, I personally want people to have $100,000 in bodily injury, $300,000 per accident, and then $100,000 in property damage. This is the base level of coverage that I feel that you should have. And the reason that is because if you cause a major accident, or if you're involved in a major accident and the person that was at fault doesn't have any insurance, then there's a very high probability that your bills are going to be paid. Also, within the insurance industry, if you have the 100, 300, 100 limits on your policy, then you're considered fully insured. Just like the homeowner's policy, if you're a little bit more exposed to being sued, if you're at fault in an accident, then you should consider increasing those limits to maybe 250, 500, and 250. I personally have that on my own policy. Again, I'm a business owner. It just makes me feel good inside. Now, when it comes to quoting your insurances, you should do that every 3 to 5 years, the same interval as your homeowner's policy, because for a lot of you, you're going to have these coverages bundled together. The things that go into your quote is going to be your driving history. If you have a poor driving history, then you're going to pay more for your insurance. It's also going to take into account the type of car that you drive. If you have a high performance car that can go very fast, then you're probably going to pay more for that coverage. The cost of the vehicles that you own are also going to affect what you pay for your insurance. If you own a very expensive car, then the insurance premiums required to cover that car are going to be much higher. The other reason that I want you to have your coverages quoted every 3 to 5 years is because things change. Maybe you had a DUI or an accident or some type of violation that went on your driving record 5 years ago. At some point, those things are going to start falling off of your driving record. And what this is going to do is it's going to open up the types of insurance companies that are available to you. You may be able to find a better insurance company with better rates as time goes on because those things are falling off your driving record. But regardless of the quote that you decide to go with, I do not want you to sacrifice coverage just to save money. Make sure you have the proper amounts of coverage for your specific situation. Just like homeowners insurance, auto insurance is very much a set it and forget it thing. As long as you don't have anything major happen within your policy period, your insurance company is probably just going to automatically renew you. The problem with this is that gaps can occur within your coverage. Insurance companies change what they cover and what they won't cover every single year. It's just like health insurance. So making sure that you have your auto insurances reviewed and quoted every 3 to 5 years is what's going to ensure that those gaps don't widen to a point that you're overexposed. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If this video or any of the other videos that I've put out has provided you value, then hit that subscribe button. If you know someone that's riding around on state minimums and they just refuse to get the coverage that they should have in place, then send this video to them. Maybe it'll help get them moving in the right direction. But I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you soon.